And I know it's busy in here, but it looks like most of you were able to find a spot to sit. Welcome to Prairie Ridge Elementary. My name is Crystal Fulcher. I'm the principal here, and I'm going to be introducing several of our staff tonight that you will get to know. I'm excited because I do see lots of familiar faces out there. So welcome back to those families that are already Prairie Ridge families or have been in the past. And welcome to those families that are new. We're really excited that you're here. This is one of the most exciting nights as a staff that we have because we get to meet our new incoming Cougars, and we love our kinders. Matter of fact, I saw a couple kindergartners walk in with their families already that are current kindergartners, and I think that they would tell you we really love our kindergartners here. Love on them so much. So we are so excited that you are here. We're excited to share information with you tonight. I do have Mrs. Porras, who is recording the event. And so if you want to rewatch this again, just for fun and all your free time, or if you just need to rewatch something to get more information, after tonight we will save the link and I will email it out to everybody so that you have it as a reference point. All right, so here we go. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce to you our 4 awesome kindergarten teachers. And after I introduce them, that will be the time that you will give your future kindergartner a great big hug and then send them off with the kindergarten teacher so that they can go do some fun activities and visit the kindergarten rooms tonight and see what those are all about. All right, so here we go. Susan Robertson. There's Susan. Lori Hoover. Mackenzie Peterson. And Jill Ketch. All right, very good. So at this point in time, like I said, please give your child a great big hug and a kiss, and then send them on their way. We're going to start with our counseling and guidance services, and that's Mrs. Montgomery. So I'm going to turn it over to her.
I'm the counselor here at Prairie Ridge. I've been here for, I think this is my 13th year, and I love my job. I currently have a kindergarten here at the school this year, so I've been on your side of it now as well for the first time, and so I know sometimes it's hard. My biggest job the first week or two of school is to help make sure your kids feel safe and happy to be at school, because there's a lot of babies that don't want to stay away from mom and dad at the beginning, and that's kind of what I devote my job to the first couple of weeks. So you can be rest assured that I will do what I can to make them feel comfortable here and safe and get them used to the transition of coming into the school and just being happy here and being okay leaving mom and dad to come to school every day. That's just kind of what I do the first couple of weeks of every year with kindergarten and first grade. And some older kids as well sometimes. I also teach them social emotional lessons 2 times a month. I'll go teach them the lessons on things like feelings and managing feelings and how to calm ourselves down and handle disappointments things like that. Friendship, we do a lot with friendship in kindergarten. And I also do several small groups. Those aren't with all of the kids, but I will from time to time if there is a need and you see a need and the teacher sees a need, I'll meet with kids in small groups or individually in my office for just a little bit of extra help with different skills that they might need. And those are just like my lessons in the classroom. It's just a little bit more, because it's such a smaller setting, we can go just a little bit deeper into some of the stuff that I talk about in the classrooms. I am here for you as well. If you have any questions or you need anything, my door is always open. Feel free to email me or call me and I will get back to you. If I don't know the answer, I'll help you find it. So if you ever have any questions, just let me know. I'm going to be sending an email out to all of you sometime coming up with just a little information sheet of stuff you can be doing at home. But also, if you have any information you want me to know about your child prior to them coming in, if you're thinking there's going to be some separation, or if you've had big family changes and things like that you just want me to be aware of, you can put it in a little Google form that I'm going to send home. Totally optional. If you don't want to send one in, that's totally fine too. But I'm here for you and your kids, and I'm excited for our new round of kindergartners.
Up next is our school improvement specialist, which is kind of like an assistant principal, but Mrs. Reinell does a lot of work with curriculum, instruction, and assessment. So she's going to talk with you a little bit about that.
Boy, doesn't that sound like fun? Welcome. Look around 13 years from now, just the flash, you'll be walking down the hill at Mill Valley. So I just want to welcome you to Prairie Ridge. It's a wonderful place to be. I've been here since the walls were built. So just good luck with your kindergartner. I do want to tell you, we start the year off right off the bat doing some assessing as far as ELA, or reading and math, basically, is what we're looking at, just so we can get started right away and see some areas that we need to help with. And right away, it's letter naming, so just they identify letters and sounds. If you want to help out, that's the way to do it this summer, is just through letter naming, letter sounds, and in math, it's identifying numbers and being able to say, okay, I'm going to say 7, 8, and you keep going, that kind of thing, just number sequencing and things like that. But no pressure. I just want to let you know, though, I think they start August 13th, and we might start the 20th with that. So if your child comes home, and that's what's happening. It's just that assessment piece. It's always after they've already been placed in their home classroom, though. So again, welcome. We're sure glad you're here. If you have any questions about curriculum, I could go and tell you we use McGraw-Hill for math and this for that, but I don't think that's the important stuff right now. If you have any questions at all, though, please feel free to call me. I'm here a lot, so I'm going to turn this over to Mrs. Fulcher.
Thank you, Mrs. Reinell. All right, the next person I'd like to introduce is Mrs. Sweeney, and she is the reading specialist here at Prairie Ridge.
First of all, I just want to start off saying welcome, and what an exciting time it is for you. My name is Jen Sweeney. This is my first year here at Prairie Ridge. This is my 19th year in education, and I will tell you, honestly, a little bit about me is for 18 years, a piece of my heart belonged to kindergarten. I was a kindergarten teacher before I got my master's for reading specialist, and so I just want to tell you, embrace every single moment with your child this year. Every year is a big year for your kids, no matter what grade they're in, but in kindergarten, the amount of growth that your child has, academically, socially, emotionally, it is such a fun part to be a part of. So enjoy and embrace every single opportunity with your kids, because your minds are going to be blown. The teachers here, our minds are always blown, because they start off and they need all the support and from you guys and here at the school, and they grow into little independent learners, and it's just such a beautiful moment. So embrace that. That's one of my biggest things for you to take away. Kind of to copy off of what Ms. Reinell said, with the curriculum, yes, if you guys can start laying that strong foundation for reading, working with letters and sounds with your kids. You know, phonemic awareness and phonics skills. I know Ms. Fulcher sent out a more newsletter to parents last night. There is like a flyer in there with some great resources, with some good phonemic awareness and phonics activities that you guys can start doing now, work through the summer, and even into the beginning of the school year with your child. And, you know, I even tell parents to have fun in the car, because in the car, I know it's kind of crazy and kids don't always listen to the radio, but you know, start reading some of that environmental print around, the signs when you guys go by it. If they see a stop sign, what letter does that sign start with? You know, and then even say, start doing some fun rhyming in the car. Hey, I see the sun. What's the word that rhymes with sun? How about fun? How about run? Or hey, if we have the word sun, what's that first sound in sun? And make the sound s. What if we change it to a, then it turns into fun. Just make learning fun with your kids. Do all that fun stuff you guys know how to do, and really just honestly keep reading to your kids. Read to them every day. Show them so much fun with reading, so many different things. There's books now that are interactive that you guys can do actions with and make it silly, change your voices, do that fun stuff, and just show them how reading is everywhere. Even when you go to Walmart, what letter does Walmart start with? You know, point out the W for them, and just let them embrace reading all the way around them and in the environment with them. So welcome to Prairie Ridge. We can't wait to meet your little ones next fall. So thank you.
All right, next up is Nurse Sarah, and she's going to talk to you about all those fun things that you need to make sure you have done before your kiddo comes to kindergarten. So she has a lot of great information to share. Okay, hi all. My name is Sarah Lennon. This is my 11th or 12th school year starting with your kiddos. I have been a school nurse, well, that whole time. I started here at Prairie Ridge, and so, okay, so I sent out in the packet that Mrs. Fulcher, or not packet, but in the email that she sent out, there were some key things that you have to have for me in order for your kiddo to be able to walk through the doors in August. The first thing is the vaccination record. If you have vaccinated your child and you've done the required shots, you have to send me a copy of that. Even if you're waiting for their 5-year appointment to happen, because if you haven't been at their 5-year appointment, that's a big shot appointment, okay? So if you want to send me their 4-year records, that's fine. If they've already had their 5-year appointment, then, you know, of course, send me that record. If you're waiting, that's fine, but even like if they turn 5, let's say in September or October, I want the record beforehand. I have to have some record of the required shot before they can step in the building. I already said that, but if you have chosen not to vaccinate your child, I will need a letter written by you or typed out by you. It can be an email that just says, you know, that you've chosen not to vaccinate, and then just signed and dated by you. The other piece of information that I need is a physical assessment or health assessment. Basically, just that letter printed out from the doctor that says their height, weight, blood pressure, and any kind of medical condition that they have. Speaking of medical conditions, if they have one will be a concern or be an issue here at school, or even if it's something minor like glasses or you know, a prosthetic or anything like that, that's information that's really vital to keeping them healthy and in school. So feel free to email me. I know my email is along with everybody else's email, but I will put that information into Skyward so that the teacher is aware, and then I am also aware, and any like sub-nurse that comes in will also be aware of any medical issue for that. Kind of to go back to vaccines, COVID it's not a required vaccine, but it is available for 5-year-olds on up, and if you've done that, you can, a lot of pediatricians are adding it to their vaccine record. Otherwise, you guys can snap a picture of the card, or give me a copy of the card, and I'll enter that into Skyward. Let's see, try to think what else. Oh, yes, the last thing, pottying. If you read this part of the information that I sent out, or that Mrs. Fulcher sent out, the other piece of kindergarten, when you're getting ready, doing all those fun things like Jen talked about and Miss Rynell talked about, you know, our letters and our colors and our shapes and the signs that walk by. Also, pooping and pottying are huge things that you have to be prepared for going into kindergarten. A A lot of parents don't think of that. You know, they're thinking of, you know, like I said, the colors, the shapes, the numbers, can you say your name, you know, those kind of things. But what you don't think about is, can they wipe themselves? Can they say, hey, I need to go to the bathroom? Or, hey, I had an accident. And that is a huge piece of kindergarten in getting them ready. If your child has a medical condition or a situation where we have chronic constipation, I know we're having some detailed talk here, sorry. But if they have some medical issues, feel free to email me, call me, let me know, and we'll kind of come up with a plan for the school year. All right, but it is a piece of that readiness that you have to be ready for. I know I talked about in the information that Mrs. Fulcher sent out, the automatic toilets. So here we have automatic toilets that flush. That is also a fear of many 5-year-olds. You know, they've never been to one, especially in a pandemic. You know, this last couple years, you probably haven't taken them in a Target or a Walmart. And, you know, here they come to school and their little body hops off that toilet and it automatically flushes and we go into freak out mode. So, now that the world is sort of opening back up, which I'd like to say I'm glad I get to see everybody's faces tonight, but practice with your child. If you go out of town, if you go on a trip, if you're going shopping or if you're going out, practice that automatic toilet or, you know, how to use the public toilet. I think that's it. But the paperwork, the deadline is August. The sooner I can get that, the better. I spend pretty much from May until the start entering all that data into our system. And then come August, I will reach out to all of you guys and say, hey, you're missing this, you're missing that. So the sooner you can get that in, the better for me. And then, like I said, if your kiddo has a health condition that needs to be addressed, let me know. Oh, one more thing. If you have a kiddo that needs medication here at school, meaning like an ADHD or ADD medication that they're on, or any other daily medication, an inhaler, an EpiPen because they have a nut allergy, let's say, all that requires a doctor's order for me to administer here at school. Okay, so each school year, you have to give me that permission to do that, and it will be a note from the doctor. So vaccination record, or religious or belief exemption note, a physical form, permission from the doctor to give medicine, and teach your kid how to poop. Thank you. Nurse Sarah, I think you just missed one word, and that was independently. Oh, yes. Okay, thank you. Okay. Before I turn it over to other people, I'm going to talk a little bit about a couple things, but I do want to point out Miss Megan. Megan, you want to raise your hand?
Hi.
So here at Prairie Ridge, as well as the other schools in the district, we have a before and after school program through Johnson County Parks and Rec called JCPRD. And I know that several of our families like to take advantage of this before and after program because they are right here in the cafeteria, in our gym, out on our playground, before school and after school. And it's a great program. If someone needs that, it is available. And so Miss Megan's gonna be around. She can, if you have a specific question, she has flyers to hand out if you're interested in the program. She can answer any question for you about that. Miss Megan also works for the school district. She is our cashier during our lunchtime here, so she gets to be here before school and after school and during school. So that's Megan, and she will be around if you need to get information from her about JCPRD. Okay, so I'm going to have PTO go last. I'm going to do my part first because their slides are at the end, so here we go. Okay, so we have full-day kindergarten. About 5 years ago, there was an option to have half-day or full-day kindergarten. And the state decided, you know what, we feel like it's best for our kids to be in kindergarten full-time. So they are here the exact same hours the rest of our students are here at school. So we start our day at 8:45 in the morning. We ask that students arrive no earlier than 8:30. We open the doors at 8:30. We welcome all the kids in. They walk down to their classrooms. They put away all their items and they get ready for the day. And then we have the tardy bell rings at 8:45. So that's when they're here. We dismiss. Actually, kindergarten dismisses a little bit before 8:50 because we kind of like to get our littles out the door before the rush of everyone else. The bigger kids are coming out. So if your child is going to be a walker, They walk them up at about 3:40, 3:44-ish, and meet in the front vestibule area. They only will release your child to you or a designated person that they know for sure, so they're always gonna make eye contact, wave at the person that's picking them up to make sure that we know that your kiddo's getting with you. And we also have, of course, bus riders as well as car riders. So we have what we call a balanced classroom approach. And this will be our 5th year that we'll do this. It's called Camp Kindergarten. We actually missed 1 year doing this due to COVID, but we picked it up again this last year. With all the other kiddos in our building, we pretty much know those kiddos pretty well. We know them as a learner, we know their personality, we know how they socialize, so we feel like when we go to do our class lists, that we feel like we can really appropriately place them with other kiddos and teachers that's gonna be a good match. With kindergarten, we don't. And so that's why we started Camp Kindergarten. And so Camp Kindergarten is a time where at the beginning of the year, we take the first several days of school and we have the kids rotate through the different classrooms, 1 classroom a day. They get to know all the different kindergarten teachers, they get to know the different kindergarten kiddos, and that's a time for us to observe them and get to know them better as not only a learner, but as an individual. And then that helps us figure out which class they would be best placed in. And so then after about 4 days of doing that, on the 5th day, they will then start what we call their forever kindergarten class, where they will then be in their class that they'll be in for the rest of the year. And I know in the SMORE that I sent out to you, there's a section on this in there, and as we get closer to the school year starting in August, I will send more information about this just so that everyone is aware that this is how this is gonna look and this is how this is gonna work. We feel that it's been very successful for us to have, like I said, that balanced kindergarten classroom and do a really good job of matching the teachers with the students. So that's the first thing about Camp Kindergarten. Okay, so here's the next thing that we have. This is called an ASQ, and I just wanted to show you kind of some screenshots of what this looks like. This may look familiar to you because when you take your child into like their doctor's office, lots of times they will have a little survey for you to fill out or something to have them do and you fill out while they're there, like hop on 1 foot, hop on 2 feet. Okay, can you draw a circle? Can you draw a straight line? This is very, very similar to that, and it's called the ASQ. It is something that is now required in the state of Kansas for us to give out to parents to do with your child before they enter kindergarten. And basically, it just gives us, as well as you, some good information on kind of where they're at with some of those developmental milestones. Once we get closer to school, I'll be sending you more information about this. There's an online link. It's really easy to use to do it online and submit everything. But that is one more thing. I just wanted to make sure you're aware that that is something that we will do this year as well. Okay, so this is like the $1 million question, right? This is what a lot of parents will ask me. So what can I do to prepare my child for kindergarten? And I love how Mrs. Sweeney, our reading specialist, was like, you know, just have fun learning and just love with your child. This is gonna be an awesome time right before they go to kindergarten because all of us who have our own kids can attest, the time goes by very quickly. And, you know, I'm sitting here and I have a 7th and 8th grader this year, and it's like, how does that happen? All of a sudden, I just enrolled my son for high school, and it's a little traumatizing. So if you're now sending your kindergartner to school for the first time, I know what you're going through because I went through that as well. And then each stage that you go through, it's like that next milestone you're hitting. So anyway, I just want to give you some suggestions of some things that you can be doing as you are preparing for kindergarten. And I know that Mrs. Sweeney already said this one. Read to and read with your child. Have conversations with them about those stories. I know, I've been there reading that story for the 10 billionth time. But they love it, and they love that repetition, and they love to talk with you about those characters. So have fun with them as you are reading with them. Talk about what's happening in the world around them. And when you read this, I don't want you to think, let's talk globally. Probably not appropriate to talk about the war right now with kindergartners, things like that. That's not what I'm referring to. I'm talking about as you are driving down the street, as you're interacting with people in stores, Talk about what's going on with them in the world around them. If you drive by a construction site, talk about what's going on with them. All right? If you go into Walmart or the grocery store, talk about the different things that you see. That vocabulary building is really, really important for our kids to hear and interact with you about all of those things. So just in their daily life, talk about those things. All right, read and sing nursery rhymes. And I remember we had one that was played over and over and over again. But nursery rhymes give a lot of good language, a lot of repetition, a lot of the rhyming, which is something that we work on in kindergarten, and it's something fun that the kids really enjoy doing. Counting items. I know that Mrs. Reinell mentioned we do some assessments at the beginning of the year, and one is math. Counting things, going around and counting how many different pens you have in your container, or how many socks are in the laundry basket, or how many pictures do we have on the wall. Doing any sort of thing with math that you can bring in that fun learning with them, because even though you're thinking in your mind, I'm going to teach them how to do whatever, make it fun with them so that they don't think that you're trying to teach them something, you're just trying to have fun with them, but in a learning way. Play games together. So hopefully, I hope your kids maybe found a board game or two that they like, maybe some Candyland's going on out there, or some spotted games or things like that. When you play those kinds of games with your child, you're teaching them many things. You're teaching them taking turns. You're teaching them how to follow directions. You're teaching them how to be a good sport, how to be a gracious loser if they lose or if you lose. So there are so many things that we can teach our child through interacting with them through games. Drawing and writing is another thing. I know that in my house we had a separate corner just kind of set up with lots of markers and crayons and different kinds of pencils and different kinds of paper and paint and things like that, so that they can also do those fine motor things, working with their hands, which is really important as they're learning how to write. So that's one more thing. Okay, limit your screen time. I think that they're still suggesting 2 hours a day, right? And I know this can be really difficult. As a mom myself, sometimes I need to get something done and they want to do something on their iPad and I let them do it. But I'm just gonna caution you that it's really important to limit that time, because we sometimes get kiddos who seem like they're almost addicted to the technology and they don't want to get it up. We are one-to-one iPads here at the elementary level. When they get on to middle and high, they're one-to-one with math books, but here we are one-to-one with iPads. As a staff, we very cautiously have talked about what kind of screen time the kids need to get here and what that should look like, because we also do not want to be using a lot of the screen time here at school. We have a couple of apps that we use that are learning apps. We have one for math and one for reading. But I would just caution you on that. Just be very conscientious of how much your kiddo is getting that screen time. Engage students in activities around the house, sort and fold the laundry. Yeah, you can do that, Take those socks and match them up. Put them together, all right? Help setting the table, help clearing the table. Our cafeteria has changed due to COVID, because it used to be that they would go through the line and they would have to serve themselves like with a spoon. And then when COVID hit, there was a lot of concern obviously over touching things that other people were touching, and so everything is very much individualized. Moving into the next school year, they told us, well, we're not exactly sure what it's gonna look like in the cafeteria, if everything's still gonna be individually packed, or if we're gonna go back to some more of that they have to serve themselves. That's a great skill though to practice at home, having them scoop up their own, corn or potatoes or whatever, and practice putting it on their plate. So these are all things that they can start doing at home. Even making their bed, that's a good one to do. Establish a really good morning and evening schedule. What's it look like when they get up in the morning? Are they getting up and coming down and having breakfast and then brushing their teeth and then getting dressed, or kind of what does that look like, and how long does it take them? Because that's one thing you're just gonna have to be really conscious about as you plan for what time you're gonna need to be at school when we get to that point. as well as that evening schedule. So what does your evening look like? Is it bath time and then books and teeth and bed? So make sure you have that good routine. Kids really thrive on having those routines. They really expect that and look forward to that. So that is something that you're going to want to consider and how that looks at your house. Model and practice those self-help skills. So we're talking about the zipping, either on pants or on a coat, buttoning, tying. I know a lot of their shoes aren't tying, so that may not be coming yet, but that'll be one of those fine motor things you'll want to work on. Serving their own food, washing their hands, using that bathroom independently. Acknowledge and talk about emotions. So our kids come to school and they have a lot of emotions, and some have really big emotions, and we can see those emotions, and some kind of keep their emotions inside. Please talk with your kiddo about their emotions. Everybody feels happy at some point, sad, mad, surprised. Everyone feels those emotions, but it's how we react when we have those emotions that is what's really important. And along with that goes little problems versus big problems. That's something else that we teach here. So our reaction to a problem needs to match. If it's a little problem, what should our reaction look like? But if it's a big problem, what should our reaction look like? So it's just really important for our kids to know that we feel those emotions as well, and that we know how to react at certain times and what it should look like. Oh, provide time for socialization. COVID really hit us with this one, because going through the past couple of years, people were very cautious, myself including, with my own children, and not as much socialization is going on. And we see that effect here at school. So please, as we are hopefully getting back into some safer times, please provide that good time for socialization for your child so that they learn how to play with friends and share and do those types of things together. Talk, 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 listen, listen, listen. That vocabulary piece is huge, so don't forget about that. All right, here's another tool that I just wanted to show you and share with you. So in my s'more that I sent out, there was a link on there that talks about kindergarten readiness. And so you can click on this and it'll bring up this document. Because there are sometimes, some people are like, oh, is my kiddo really ready for kindergarten? Or, maybe they have a summer birthday and we're just not sure about sending them. Or, this can also be a tool that can be used as far as, okay, where's my kid at right now? So what are the things I need to work on between now and when school starts? So this is a readiness checklist, and it has several of your gross motor skills on there. Like, how well is my kiddo doing running and jumping and skipping? Can they walk up and down the stairs independently? How well can they do those things? Are they not there yet? Or yeah, they've already mastered that. And then it gets into social skills. Following two-step directions. How well do they play with other kiddos? How well can they wash their hands independently? Are they able to talk in sentences, or is it more phrases? The fine motor skills, putting those puzzles together, if they're able to grip and hold on to pencils and markers and things like that with their fine motor. And then academic skills, as well as personal information. Do they know their full name? Can they tell you what their first and last name is? Or at this point, are they only knowing their first name? So maybe between now and kindergarten, we need to work on making sure they know their last name. Do they know their birthday and how old they are? Do they know their telephone number, their address, their parents' names besides mom and dad? So this is just a tool for you to use. Like I said, it's in the s'more if you want to reference it in there, and you can use it in multiple ways. All right, so a couple of people that you need to know. Mrs. Porras, can you wave your hand back there? Mrs. Porras is going to be moving into the role of our school improvement specialist next year. Our wonderful and lovely Mrs. Reinell, who spoke to us earlier, she's just joining that next generation, and she's moving into retirement. So we are super excited for her, and she has been wonderful here. Like she said, she's been here since Prairie Ridge opened and has just added so much to the school, but she's ready for that next step, and we're all really happy and sometimes jealous. So we're excited for Denise, but We also know that we will have a great replacement with Mrs. Porce, who is currently our tech teacher. And so she will be moving into that role. So I just wanted to make sure you knew her face. The next one is our lead secretary, Amy Augustine. And Amy handles basically all of the enrollment paperwork. So you may have noticed in this more that I sent out where I said, email Amy Augustine, send this to Amy Augustine. Questions, ask Amy Augustine. She's not able to be with us here tonight, but I just wanted to put a name with a face so that you know that she is in the front office with Mrs. Handy and Mrs. Harris. Okay, I am done with my little talk now. So I'm going to turn it over to our wonderful PTO co-presidents. So we have Beth Ansel and Abby Summerskill.
Hello. As she said, my name is Abby Summerskill. I am co-president this year, and I will also be co-president next year. I have a 4th grader and a kindergartner. So this was me last year, so we had to do it on a computer, so I'm glad everyone could be here tonight. So just a few things about our PTO. We are a group of parents and teachers that we work together to support Prairie Ridge students and staff. We do this by different fundraising programs, providing school resources, and planning a variety of events. Everybody who has a child at PRE is automatically in our PTO, so feel free to come out to our monthly meetings.
We do several fundraising activities through the year, and the most important one that we probably do is Labathon, and that is in September. And what happens is students line up in front of the school, and our MC, Rebecca, will get them started, and they run a lap, well, several laps. Every time they run a lap, they get a bracelet. So they really enjoy collecting their bracelets. And then we ask families to donate, and they can ask friends to donate online or coworkers. And then we have not been able to have Spring Carnival for a few years, so we're excited to have that back, and that will be May 6th. And you all are invited. We have bouncy houses, carnival games, we'll have food trucks this year. And then we also do monthly restaurant nights, where you have the opportunity to go to a restaurant and we get a kickback for what you spend for your meal.
So this school year, we had budgeted about $65,000 for teachers, students, and school resources. A couple of the things that we do for the teacher and staff is grants. At the beginning of every year, they fill out grant applications, and then we decide. Some of the grants include field trips, resources for the classroom, things like that. We stock teacher supply closets throughout the school year, so things like paper, markers, highlighters, glue, so the teachers aren't having to pay for those out of their own pocket. We also provide meals to teachers and staff about 6 times a year, conferences, and back to school meals and things like that. We also do staff and teacher appreciation activities and gifts. We provide yearbooks to our teachers. And then this year we purchased the shelving, the lighting, and the frames to display student artwork in the office.
And then some of the ways that we give back to our students. Each grade gets 2 field trips per year that is completely funded by the PTO and even the buses for the field trips. And then each student every year gets an all-school shirt that they can use to wear on spirit days or for the field trips. When you come to back to school night, kindergarteners get a welcome bag. We hosted virtual authors. We buy supplies for makerspace and classroom projects. At the end of the year, we have a Kona Ice party. And something new that we did this year was Student of the Week signs, where every student earns the sign and it gets placed in their yard.
So throughout the year, we host a number of events, such as Walk to School Day, where the kids are encouraged to walk to school and they get a little treat at the beginning of the day. We did Build a Mascot Night this year, where the kids got to come and stuff their very own cougar, and we had a presentation from the Topeka Zoo. We are getting ready to have an extreme signage show, which will be a free family event for all the families to come to. We do book fairs throughout the year that benefit the school library. We also do skate parties. We had a holiday ice skating party, and we also do a gingerbread house competition around Christmas time.
We also are active with our students with community service, and almost every month they have an opportunity to give back. We've done shoe drives, we've done food drives for Shawnee Community Services, toy drives, they've assembled lunch bags, they made Valentine's for veterans, and if you came in tonight past the office, you noticed the piles of books. That's our book drive.
Another way that we encourage parents to get involved, specifically the dads or uncles or grandparents, is through our Watchdogs program, where they can come and they can hang out with their kids for half a day, either morning or afternoon, and the dads will assist in the card loop. They'll help pick up or deliver the Student of the Week signs. They'll assist in the classrooms. They might help with recess, make copies, or do other miscellaneous office tasks. At the beginning of the year, the first few weeks of September, we will have a meeting for any dad who wants to be a watchdog, where you come, you do the orientation, and then you are free to sign up for your days.
So we just encourage all parents to be part of the PTO and be active. Your kids like seeing you be active. My son is here tonight. He gets so excited to participate. Another way to stay engaged is through our Facebook page. We're always posting events and volunteer activities. Whenever you came in and you got the ring pop, the piece of paper that was with that has our Facebook handle and then also our email address if you want to reach out to us to volunteer sooner. And then don't forget our carnival is May 6th. It's 6 to 9 in the evening, and we'll send out more information on that as it gets closer.
I would have to say that I feel very fortunate that we have such an awesome PTO here at Prairie Ridge, because we truly partner to do things for the kiddos. And it is great because when it's time to go on that field trip, as parents, you do not have to pay a thing. You do not write a check or send in money, which is like one less thing you have to worry about, because it's all paid for through our PTO and their fundraising, which is amazing. And lots of fun events that they plan for families throughout the year. So thank you, PTO. All right, I think I hear children. I believe that they are waiting for you out in the hallway, and I think that they will be excited, hopefully, to tell you what they did. So thank you for coming tonight. Reach out if you have any questions. We're here for you, and have a great rest of your evening.